All aboard!
Hello everybody, I'm DurchBurch here at Pokemon News, and I am back in my dorm, I am back at college, and I am back here with another Nintendo hype train. Now I'm not gonna, bat around the bush here. You saw the, thumbnail, you saw the title. Heck, you could have seen the description below or posted it on Facebook or Google+. But this one is about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now, I already did a Nintendo hype train about Mario Kart 8 all the way back before that came out. And that's one of the games that I picked up, and I was very glad I did. It's one of my favorite Wii U titles. I'm not sure if it's my favorite or not. It's between that, Pokken Tournament, and Xenoblade Chronicles X, really, at this point. I mean, Smash for Wii U is up there, but it's not in that top 3. It doesn't have Smash Run. But anyways, Mario Kart 8 is my favorite Mario Kart other than DS, arguably. I love them both for different reasons. But yeah, it's definitely, it is up there. So what makes Mario Kart 8 Deluxe different from the Mario Kart 8 we got on the Wii U, is aside from getting all of the DLC characters and races for free, which I think is, man, that was a total of somewhere between $20 and $30. So you're getting all that now for free, and then it comes with at least 5 more characters. I say at least because while we saw 5 and they announced 5, their description on the websites and stuff like that described it as having characters like, and then they listed all 5. And you don't usually use like if you only have those ones. If I was to say colors like blue, green, and turquoise, that doesn't mean I'm leaving out colors like, I don't know, swamp water green, I don't know. I'm not leaving those colors out. I'm saying colors like, they're saying characters like, and then they list 5. Well, there's probably more than 5 then. But the 5 characters that we have confirmed, which is pretty nice, a nice list here. Dry Bones, Bowser Jr., King Boo, which we actually saw all the way back in the Switch reveal trailer, not that far back. But also the Inkling Boy and the Inkling Girl from Splatoon are available as separate characters. I'm not quite sure why they're separate, because if you look at, the Villager, I'm pretty sure the Villager takes up 1 slot you select, and then the option to pick between the 2 comes up. They might have had it like this just for the demo, and all that. We don't know what the final one's going to be like, but so you're getting these new characters here. Dry Bones is one of the ones that really excites me, because Dry Bones was my main in Mario Kart DS, so I'm excited there to get Dry Bones back. He's my lighter weight main in most games. It's also good to see Bowser Jr. back. He has not been back since Wii, and I missed him. But the fact that Splatoon's getting thrown in is especially cool to me, because I really like the concept of a Nintendo Kart rather than a Mario Kart. And so having characters from Nintendo's, newest big game, that just excites me, and I get very happy. But anyways, there's more kart parts, so, for those of you who've played Mario Kart 7, Mario Kart 8, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you who haven't, Mario Kart 7 and Mario Kart 8 use a system where there's a body, tire, and glider mechanic. When you are, picking and choosing for your kart, you pick between the actual kart chassis, the tires, and the glider. The glider has the least effect. Basically, the glider affects your airspeed and air acceleration, as well as normal weight, I think. Either that, or it also affects your land acceleration or something like that. But the and the tires mostly affect steering and handling and stuff, but the kart bodies affect the most, and so that's what I'm going to be listing. I don't know exactly what new tires and gliders were shown. I didn't see any gliders, but I think there were a couple new tires. But anyways, there's the Koopa Clown, which is returning from Mario Kart 7. If you've played it, you know it's the Bowser's, clown copter thing, but in kart form. It's Bowser Jr.'s vehicle in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U when you use a side B. That's basically what that was. But yeah, that was in Mario Kart 7. They're bringing that back, which is another returning vehicle, which, that hasn't happened that often in this series, but Mario Kart 8's really been kind of throwing that in. There's also two Splatoon vehicles, the Splat Buggy and the Ink Striker. The Splat Buggy and Ink Striker are both ATVs, unlike the Koopa Clown, which is a kart. And the Splat Buggy, it's kind of like a little kart-ish ATV, Splatoon and whatnot. It's not that special, but the Ink Striker is. The Ink Striker looks like the Ink Strike missile, like when you would use your Ink Strike and you'd shoot the missile up in Splatoon. That's what the Ink Striker is. It's that missile, and they're riding on that, and that's really cool to me. But also, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe features two returning items. The Cape Feather, as it's described by Nintendo, but to most people it's just the feather, which was last seen on Super Mario Kart for the SNES. It might have been on the Game Boy Advance version, I'm not sure, I didn't play much of that. But the Cape Feather is basically, in Super Mario World, it's the feather that would give you a cape. And in Mario Kart, it would allow you to hop. You could hop over a ramp and get like an item there. You could hop over and do a shortcut. It was the shortcut item before mushrooms, fully took that spot. But the Cape Feathers is back, and it works pretty much exactly as it did before. I'm not sure if when you use it, it automatically does a trick for you, but I know you can do a trick during that. So it's either automatic or you're choosing, and it does a little trick and you get a boost when you land. But also the Boo, last seen in the N64. In Mario Kart 64, there was the Boo item. You would go invisible, and you would steal an item from someone. As far as I know, it was last used on the N64. I might be forgetting something somewhere, but the Boo item, it has not returned for so long. And now it's back, and it works the exact same way. Steals an item, you go invisible, you keep going. Other interesting things that are returning, double item boxes. The game does not have a double dash style, gameplay mechanic, but double item boxes are back because you can hold two items again, similar to double dash. So, for those of you who've played Mario Kart 8, you know that even when holding an item behind you, it was in your item slot. Now you can have a backup item while you carry one behind you, while still using that mechanic where it still shows up in your item slot while it's out. So they basically threw double item boxes back in to bring that mechanic back. So that's kind of interesting. But also, the classic battle mode is back, where you have, a stadium. They have Bob on Blast as an option again, which that was my favorite mode in Double Dash. I really loved it, and it's kind of cool to see it back. But it doesn't play the exact same way. It's basically just something I did normally in Mario Kart 8, which was set it to Bob-ombs only and a balloon battle. Like, it's not that different. But the stages in Classic mode, there's two new ones. Battle Stadium, which is basically Mario Kart Stadium, but battle themed. It's a little stadium, it's a very similar aesthetic. There's a weird slanted anti-grav area in the center, and otherwise it's kind of an oval. But there's also Urchin Underpass from Splatoon, which there's ink puddles lying around. It looks a lot like Urchin Underpass. I don't think it looks exactly like Urchin Underpass did, because that might be kind of difficult to work into the game, because Splatoon has completely different mechanics, and that would kind of be an odd thing to work in. But it also has 2 returning stages for Battle Mode. Battle Stage 1 from the SNES, which was basically a square with little walls that were also square, and then like cut out in those walls like a plus-shaped design. But that battle stage is back, and as well as Luigi's Mansion from the GameCube. So you all know about Luigi's Mansion from Mario Kart DS, which was also in Mario Kart 7, and that was a race. And then there was also a battle stage that was somewhat similar, but the thing is, Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube was a really weird, really fun map. There was an upper area which on Bob on Blast you could just throw bombs down from up there. And then there was the middle area, which was really dangerous but had a lot of item boxes, so you could stock up on bombs and Bob on Blast. And then down below, like, you could kind of go around the side and below, and there was a little hallway with stairs, which was a good way to corner people. It was a very fun stage, and I'm excited to see it back. It looks beautiful in HD. Now, one thing I should mention that disappointed a lot of people, is that there are 48 races in the game currently. They have not said anything about whether or not there will be a DLC, but I highly expect them to do DLC for this game. There's really no reason for them to not do it. Especially considering the fact that Diddy Kong was in Mario Kart 8 artwork, but was never in Mario Kart 8. They had his artwork. He was in a magazine published by Nintendo in Europe, showing off Mario Kart 8 stuff. It showed him and his artwork. Like, it didn't show him in game, but it showed his artwork. And then he was just not in game, and he's not one of the 5 characters listed yet. So if he's not one of the ones, introduced in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, he's probably, hopefully, going to be DLC. He'd better be DLC. But I could see them doing DLC racetracks, definitely something from Splatoon, because they already have the characters and they don't want to just have a battle stage for them, I'd think. Other, possible characters from other titles could be thrown in. Who knows, maybe like Captain Falcon or Kirby, Samus. Like, they have a large pool of characters to draw from now that they're showing that they're not going to shy away from just bringing in, other franchise characters. Now, one of the biggest things is a lot of people were like, okay, but characters in battle mode is nice, but what is new? What is special? It looks the exact same. That's true. It looks pretty much the exact same. But it should be added that on TV, it runs at 60 frames per second at all times at 1080p. Before, it was running at 720p and could be upscaled, I think, to 1080 through the thing if you were using a 1080p TV. But it was rendered at hard at 720. And basically what they're doing here is it's running at 1080p, 60 FPS at all times. That is its base. When it's on TV, it does that. And that's when you have 3 people racing, that's when you have 4 people racing. No matter how many people are racing on that TV, that's what's happening there. You are playing on the TV 60 FPS. It doesn't drop to 30 like it used to when you were on, 3 or 4 people. It was insane. It was kind of a jarring shift. You had to play 2 people to get 60 FPS still. And they didn't confirm what it does on the actual Switch itself with no TV connection when it's not docked. But I would assume that it runs 720p 60 FPS for the most part, maybe going down to 30 when you have 4 people racing. but I can't really confirm whether or not it does that or not. But from what I've heard, the controls are pretty much the exact same as Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U, and I'd hope it's that way. It's still Mario Kart 8, but they do have a new, easier control mode, which was what all of the footage had. If you notice, there was an antenna on the back of the carts. That's a new feature called Smart Steering that they put on in this game to keep you on the track. So if you ever see that little antenna on someone, they're using Smart Steering. It was made basically so that people who aren't as experienced at Mario Kart can play without having to handicap the people who are good. And so basically that's kind of like, this keeps you under control. It kind of makes it a more open game. If you're playing with kids, if you're playing with, grandparents, like kids and grandparents and stuff, that is a great time to use Smart Steering. Because, the grandparents, they might have more trouble with it, a young child especially, it's a good way to kind of get them into the game. I believe the Nintendo reps referred to it as kind of like bowling with like the bumpers on the sides, or whatever you call those, basically like that. It's still just as fun, but it kind of makes it a bit easier for people who aren't as good. So with with this Switch hardware, there is one thing that's especially different, and that's haptic feedback. So on the Wii U, when you were playing Mario Kart 8, you only got haptic feedback when you were driving. I think it was when you were using a mushroom, when you were using boosts of some sort, you would vibrate. That was about it. You would get a rumble when you were boosting. Maybe some other spots. I don't quite remember, but it's kind of a background thing. Thing is, from what I've heard, Ash Paulson over at Game Explain said basically that he could feel the finer bumps in the road through the controller. So it sounds like it's going to always be rumbling, but much less, and it has more range from, less rumble to more rumble, thanks to the Switch's HD rumble. So that's kind of a cool thing. Kind of to round this all up, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, whether you feel that it's $60 worthy or not, honestly, it is. It is a $60 title. You cannot argue that it is a $50 title or a $40 title. You paid $60 for a game, on the Wii U that was 32 races. Had 6 less characters, I think, than the final version. No colors for Yoshi or Shy Guy. So there was a lot less characters on the Wii U version, a lot less races, and you paid $60 for that. And you were happy. Then you paid $20 more at least to get the DLC. So you paid $80 on the game, got all that, and then now this one comes out. So let's say that they priced each thing individually. So there's the $20 for the DLC characters, maybe $30 for the game, because it's it's just a port. It's not a full title. So what they're gonna do, they're gonna take the DLC, they're gonna throw that in there. You get $50. Then they're like, well, we have new content here as well. So they're throwing 10, 60. It is a full price game. Honestly, I think 60. They could argue for higher, but they won't because they're nice about it, and they included the DLC for free. It's a $60 game. It's a big project, and they paid a lot to get it to where it is now. It's going to be, just as amazing as Mario Kart 8 was, but much more smooth. And that's the thing I'm most excited about. The smoothness. 60 FPS with 4 people. It's gonna be great. And people are always like, oh, but who plays local multiplayer anymore? It's like, local multiplayer is one of the best ways, to play Mario Kart. And with the Switch especially, you can play on the go local. And so that's something special. And that's something that, you know, that 60 FPS will matter to you then. Like, if you're taking it on the go and you have friends with you and you're playing in the car or something, or you're playing, you know, in like the DMV waiting area, and you're playing Mario Kart 8 with 4 people at 60 FPS, if it does run at 720-60 on the on just the screen alone, that will be worth it. You know, there's so much that they've done to this, and we don't know if there's more. This game doesn't come out until May. Or sorry, until April. I think it's April 28th. The original one came out in May. But, you know, it doesn't come out for another month after the system. You know, it doesn't come out for another 3 months from now. They're not going to announce everything all right away. They didn't do that with Mario Kart 8. They're not going to do it here. But anyways, I'm going to cut this off here before it goes on for too long. So anyways, thanks for watching, Ling. I hope you love Disc. Check out more Nintendo hype trains from the past. It's kind of weird, you know, seeing the hype trains about games that came out, what panned out, what didn't. But yeah, I've got 3 more planned for you guys, but I don't know when I'm gonna get those all out. I've only written the outline for 1 more. But anyways, the outro's going on long. Goodbye. Farewell. Thanks for watching our video. If you want to check out a video recommended for you, click the thumbnail on the left. If you want to check out our most recent video, click the thumbnail on the right. We post a lot more on Facebook and Google+, so be sure to check us out there. Links are in the description below.